The 298 people on board MH17 never stood a chance. Dutch investigators' forensic examination proved a Russian-made surface-to-air BUK missile detonated near the cockpit, wreaking terrible damage. But it didn't find the culprit.
There is a need to find out exactly what happened and hopefully, find some way of prosecuting the individuals involved.
Paul Gard lost both his parents in the attack on MH17, and he hopes no other families endure this grief.
They were both respected doctors, and obviously they loved their jobs and they were very well loved by the community. So yeah, we miss them very much, and but we're very happy of the wonderful times we had with them, and we're very grateful for all the support we've received from the community.
The Dutch report doesn't apportion blame, but Russian-backed separatists have long been the prime suspects.
It establishes conclusively the weapon that was used, because only a relatively new model of the BUK-2 uses a warhead that contains bow tie and square-shaped shrapnel by design, and over 500 bow ties were found in the aircraft wreckage, in the bodies of the pilot, the first officer, and the purser.
One of the world's top aviation lawyers, Jerry Skinner, who represents 7 Australian victims, as well as New Zealanders and Malaysians, is about to launch a major compensation claim.
We will be prepared to place an application in the European Court of Human Rights against the Russians and the Ukrainians for the various things discussed in this report: the failure to close the airspace, the failure to provide NOTAMs to the pilots that indicated we are involved in an actively hostile activity here with highly sophisticated weapons, and you should not fly through here.
Malaysian Airlines is also accused of culpability, and a separate court action is already underway. The airline refused to fully cooperate with the Dutch investigators.
The contribution of Malaysia Air is that they were a little bit off track. They were low because of traffic in the area, and they were slow because of traffic in the area. So when they entered directly over that zone of hostility, they would have appeared to be something other than what they were.
This chilling intercept is believed to be the crucial piece of evidence fingering Russian-backed separatists who are recorded discussing missile movements. Dutch police have used it to appeal for witnesses in Ukraine as part of a separate criminal investigation that will report next year. It's hoped it'll name the murderers, and there are a range of options for a prosecution, but legal experts say it might not be so easy.
One threshold problem is identifying and then apprehending the suspects. If pro-Russian separatist forces are responsible for the attack, as has been widely alleged, then those perpetrators are likely to seek safe haven and receive it in Russia.
Convincing Russia to hand over suspects may be next to impossible.
If we would assume that some of them may be hiding in Russia, and the Russians effectively saying we're not responsible and denying any allegations, the chances of these people being brought to justice will be close to nil.
Russia isn't accepting the blame. It's accusing Ukraine and hitting back at what it calls Western lies.
The majority of the Russians believe that the Russians were framed.
The impact was devastating. The jumbo crashed into a petrol station, sending fire 100 metres high. Those aboard had no chance. Those on the ground.
There is a precedent. Veterans of the long fight to force Libya to pay compensation for the Lockerbie aircraft bombing which killed 270 people remain optimistic they can force Russia to take responsibility.
Well, I never thought the families would see a nickel from Muammar Gaddafi. And the families of Pan Am 103 saw a lot of nickels from Muammar Gaddafi. And for all of his boasting and efforts to restore the Russian Empire, Putin is still a very practical, pragmatic politician. And he really doesn't want the nagging issue of, did we kill 300 innocents hanging around? And from his perspective, it wouldn't cost him that much to make himself look pretty magnanimous. And it seems to me that he's interested most of the time in looking good.